I was down in my basement looking for something, about a week and a half ago, and I stumbled across this, which I forgot was in my basement. Now some of you who may be following any of my YouTube videos, which I don't think there's a lot of people, but may be in the know of what this is, but what it is, it's an RCA capacitance electronic disc video disc player. And where this one came from was from my late sister, who gave this player to me, quite a few years back, actually. Quite a few years back. It's been sitting down in my basement. Now, when she gave it to me, she had it sitting out on a shelf in her shed for a long time. I guess she bought the thing when they were new and they were renting discs. And I don't think she used it very much, but when I powered it up, when I got it home all those years ago, the load motor just ran. It didn't open up. You couldn't do anything with it. And then I smelled something burning in it. And apparently whatever controls the load motor, something burned out in that circuit. So it's going to need two things at least. It's going to need a belt, and it's going to need something done on the circuit board, the circuitry, I think, that runs the load motor. So I'm going to open this thing up. It's a diversion away from my Zenith TV, which has really been kind of heavy on my mind lately, and I wanted to get away from it. I'm going to open this thing up and see if I can fix it. I bought three discs on eBay. They look like one of them is actually brand new. It's sealed. The other two look so good, I don't think they were hardly ever used. At least the cases do, the caddies do. So I'm going to see if I can make this thing work. And I had one when they were new way back in the late 70s. Didn't like it. It skipped a lot. In about 1985, I bought laser discs and a laser disc player, and I've had laser discs for a number of years. But I thought they would be fun to kind of fix this thing. It's kind of an unusual museum piece, a vinyl record, a conductive record that's actually run with a stylus. Has a disc in it. There's several really nice YouTube videos about these things. If anyone's really interested, they could look them up. But let me open this thing up and see what I can do with it. Okay, so the loading belt for the loading motor is definitely melted away. There's not much of it left. So I will have to see if I can fix that. So here is the loading motor and the pulley, and I got to tell you that this belt isn't just broken, it's turned into tar. I mean, look at my fingers. This thing is melted. Now, I can't help but think that when they manufactured parts, and people that were making these belts, that the belt, the rubber that they were using would hold up or stand the test of time. That's amazing. Well, like I say, that belt is completely rotted. And I think what may have happened is as the belt was sticking, this motor was dragging and possibly drawing a lot of current and burned out something, a resistor, something in the motor control circuit, which I'm going to investigate. I do have a schematic for this thing. I downloaded a service manual, and I did check the motor. The motor I think is good. It doesn't smell burned. I think it's 100 and some ohms on the motor coil, so I'm pretty sure the motor's okay. And I also checked for voltage on it, and there's no voltage on it at all. maybe 0.2 of a volt. So I'm thinking that maybe a resistor or a transistor in the circuit that controls it burned out. We'll take a look at that. I've been trying to degunk the inside of this pulley. You cannot believe how much that belt, that rubber belt, had turned into tar. I'm making it, this is the hardest thing I've ever had to clean out. I'm making some headway, and I think I've got a belt that'll fit this. But boy, getting this gunk out of here is really something. And I got to clean that pulley too. Wow. Okay, I've cleaned out this is what's left of the tar belt. It literally, this rubber is tar. You get it on your fingers, and it's really even hard to wash up. It's unexplainable how tarry that rubber is. I've cleaned it out of this pulley as good as I could. There, you could still see a little bit of black in there, but I don't think it'll interfere. Cleaned this pulley, and I cleaned it off of this gear. Now the scenario of what happened, I think around 1998, maybe 98 or 97, my sister gave this to me. And when I got it home, I powered it up, and I heard it try to load or open the loading door, and I could hear the motor really kind of laboring. Shortly after that, I could smell something burning, and then and the motor stopped turning. I don't think the motor burned out. I really don't, but it could be. But I don't think it did. I think something that drives it on the circuit board, a resistor or something, may have opened up. I have another belt I'm going to put on this, but I'm going to have to check the circuit board. And I have the replacement belt, but it's just a tad tight. I may have to look for a bigger belt. I can live with this thing for now, but then again, who knows if I'll get much of the rest of this thing working or not.